you know,
Africa to West Africa to...
But of course, you know, I'm always going to talk about my boy. They almost took my boy out.
Goddamn.
They almost took my boy out. Donald J. Trump. You know, I mean,
they almost Kennedy my guy. GF Kennedy my guy.
Seriously. That was a surreal moment when I saw it on TV. Yeah. You know, it was a surreal moment and I was like, is it this bad? Like, is this politics thing really this bad? Like, you know, and all. And, I mean, I don't know what you really think about that because I have my reserved, you know, comments on it, you know, but it was, I mean, of which we know that Trump got back to working immediately, almost immediately, you know, after, I mean, everybody could get around it and saw what actually happened. I was like, oh, is that really, you know, and then he went back to work and stuff, you know, but I mean, let's just talk about that moment itself. What do you, how do you see?
Let me ask you a question first of all. If you were in the line of maybe carrying out your work, maybe let's assume you're a 9-to-5, right? Or not even a 9-to-5 right now as a business person.
Yeah.
And you had a very close shave with death. Just putting yourself in that position right now. Do you think that you'll be in a position to just get up and continue working like nothing happened? Let's say if it was you. Like you just narrowly missed death. Like maybe it was an accident, like one trailer just literally skimmed past you while you were like standing at the junction or something. And then you missed death like by a mile. Or not even that, like someone actually tried to shoot you and then
someone actually shot at you.
Someone actually shot at you and you survived.
Missed the bullet.
Yeah. Would you be able to like just the next morning just like where your like,
I think that is where Trump's personality, that is where his personality comes into play. And I'm like, man, this guy is for real. Like, he really meant what he wants to do. He really meant what he wants to achieve, you know, and stuff. And I was like, you know, and it was really motivating, really, for a 78-year-old man, you know, getting shot at, blood dripping all over him and stuff and all. And he was telling his supporters, keep going on, you know, and all. That was really, really like, somebody said it's humanized Trump because people were always seeing him as somebody that cannot relate, somebody that just removed from, you know, reality because he's a rich man. He just talks anyhow and stuff and all and everything. But that moment actually made me to kind of see this guy like, man, this guy is for real. He's actually pursuing what he wants to achieve, you know, and he doesn't want anybody getting in his way and stuff and all. So it was really something to behold, something to really, really look at. Really,
I see.
For anybody that's supporting him anyway.
Yeah. Well, I mean, one thing's for sure, that entire incident completely swung the momentum in his favor, right? The question is, who are the winners and who are the losers, right? Who has more at stake at something like this happening and who has more to lose, right? Because, and there are different point of views or school of thoughts with this incident. Some people think that it could have been a planned attempt, in which case, it goes back to the question I asked you earlier. If someone actually took a shot at you and you survived, right? I would think that the natural human being's response to that is to be in a state of shock. And for a few days,
they take you
really, you really want to just, because life literally just went past you.
Yeah, talk to your therapist.
Yeah. And when you know that someone actually died, like,
exactly.
Like,
talk to your therapist.
Someone actually died with that bullet. And somebody
can't be out for the next maybe 2 weeks.
So, maybe not 2 weeks, but a day or two, right? Reprioritize what's important to you. Maybe it's your family. Maybe it's politics.
I know somebody
maybe it's your career.
Sorry to cut you. I know somebody that had a close shave with death. You know, she had an accident.
Yeah.
You know, she's been meeting therapists for this is like the second year going.
Yeah. No jokes. Really, because it impacts people differently.
Yeah.
So to see Trump like say, oh, we're going to postpone I think it was Massachusetts was supposed to go to, and then he come back later in Wisconsin, and then he comes back in the evening and says, you know what? Yeah, I thought we were going to postpone it before, but now we're good. We're going to press forward because we want to tell the enemies that we can't be down. You know, hey, listen, I'm not saying anything here. I'm just saying it all looks very convenient, right? What can't be taken away from this is that actual human lives were lost, right? Someone got hit by that bullet and sadly lost his life. The shooter was also exed, right? By Secret Service. So whether it's a case of this is planned or not planned, lives are lost. And I don't think that the American democracy wants to be able to go to that length where, for the purpose of politics, people are, violence is being used.
Did you say American democracy?
That's like going all the way back. Yeah,
they've American democracy should not go to that length.
They've left that.
They've been there.
Well, okay.
They've been there, done that.
Well, I thought they'd left that behind from the JF Kennedy days, right? And I thought they're pressing forward towards, more civilized, discussions and ways of carrying out democracy, right? So if they have to go all the way back to violence, then that's a big problem. And that could be a symbolism of the issues that the Americans are crying out for by saying that democracy right now is being run to the ground and there's a need to press a reset button, right? I think what was very interesting was, and I saw Candace Owens and was it Alex Jones say they had predicted this happening, right? Looking at how Trump had surpassed like every single hurdle, that they call it the deep state had pushed at him, right? In terms of bringing up some legal cases, trying to disqualify him, trying to make him a convicted felon. All of those things didn't seem to slow him down. Alex Jones had predicted that they will move to the next phase, which is, an assassination attempt, right? And he's even more concerned that now that has failed, they could get even more desperate and go into their book of dark arts and pull up something even more sinister, right? I think that Donald Trump builds on this big time. A lot of the neutralists and the independents who were maybe standing on the aisles and saying we'll see how things go, I think a lot of those votes have swung into his favor. The debate didn't help, right? The presidential debate didn't help in terms of Biden's performance. And then they said he got sick. He has COVID. His activities on Twitter or on X recently has been very weird. Yeah. Yeah, the president is putting out some really weird tweets.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure he's doing his party a lot of favors at this time. And there's rumors that they're trying to get him to even step down.
They want him out.
Yeah.
They want him out. All the big guys in the party, they want him out at this time. But what another thing that I saw about Trump is, imagine this guy is a multi-billionaire. There was the debate that he had with Hillary Clinton then, where Hillary Clinton was saying like Trump doesn't pay his fair share of tax and stuff and all. And Trump was like, then do something about it. If you say, I'm taking my fair share of the tax, I'm not paying it and so do something about it. But I know you're not going to do anything about it because your donors benefit from it as well.
Affected.
Yeah. And you could imagine like the guy is just telling it as it is and all. And I think it's because, he's not the regular politician, and then somebody was asking him like, what do you stand to gain in all of this? You were the, everybody's favorite, TV darling. Your apprentice, celebrity apprentice, the apprentice and stuff. Everybody loves you and stuff. You were like the golden child. You were in Home Alone. Everybody likes you. You were like
he was in Home Alone.
Yeah, he was in Home Alone.
Ah, really? Okay.
Maybe Home Alone or Problem Child. Any one of those.
Oh, okay.
And then you decide to go into policy. But if you also look at Trump's interviews from like 30 years ago, Trump has been saying exactly the same thing he's saying now.
Yeah.
That other countries are ripping America off. We don't have to, we also want our fair share, of, good business deals and stuff and all that. That's what he's been saying 30 years ago. And he's saying it the same thing right now and all. And then if you look at the debts, America's debts, like I think it's like $36 trillion right now, and all. And this guy is saying like everybody else, if you talk about war, war now, maybe backing up NATO, America is paying maybe like 80% of it. So what are the rest of the EU doing, and all? If you talk about business deals, we are selling our cars, exchange and all. America is paying 20 something, percent tax. And then, China is paying 5% tax. Like, why are you doing that to us and all? The same thing with Japan. And this guy is saying, no, we don't want to do business like that. We want to do a fair trade. If you are if we are taking this tax out of us, then we should be able to tax you like that and stuff and all. And everybody kind of like sat up during his time, and if you look at, the world stage too, relatively peaceful. Yeah. Very peaceful. So at that, Biden came into power, we've seen the way everywhere has gone into chaos. War everywhere. Everybody is just fighting war. The Middle East is not safe. What's it called? The Afghanistan is not safe. We've seen a lot of overthrows, maybe in Africa. I don't know if Africa is, that one is actually deliberate or...
You mean the Mali and
there's a lot of overthrow happening, and all. But I think what they said is, allegedly too, what they said is, there's a lot of stock that goes into military equipment and stuff and all and everything. And most of these politicians, allegedly, please, nobody should come and say, somebody saying something. No, that's what they're accused of. They are accused of using its military industrial complex. That's what they call them. Because they have stakes in all these places. Now, what's this lady? The one that was contesting against Donald Trump in the primaries. Nikki Haley. They said, by the time they checked her, that she has a big stake. Yeah, relatively, some amount of stake in one military, equipment supply company and stuff and all. So that's what they say they do, But Trump is saying, we don't want war. Yeah. America wants to pull out of every of the war that they've been fighting. They've been spending a lot of money. They want to pull out of all those stuff and all. The Middle East, they don't want no smoke, and all. And we know what happened when he said he doesn't want any smoke with Iran. And the Qasem Soleimani went to Iraq, and then they killed some US personnel and stuff and all. And Trump was like, okay, you want the smoke? Then I'm going to actually cause arson. I'm not going to bring any smoke. I'm going to cause arson, and all. Yeah. And they blew him off. Or say, let's square off, and all. But we know what happened, they backed off, and all. And you see, I think the world needs truth, and I feel like, in my own opinion, I feel like Trump brings truth to the world and the world doesn't like it, Before I leave the mic to you, I've heard something about some of the guys that, maybe like, that I chat with on Facebook or what have you and all. They're like, man, why are you supporting Trump? He doesn't even offer you anything, and all and everything. And I'm like, why wouldn't I support Trump? I've seen every of his policies, and the only thing that I'm looking at is I wish I had a leader like that in my own country that fights for the interest of me, my own interest. We know when Trump got into office, he cut tax for all working workers, cut tax for all workers and stuff. All the money that we are spending in the military, we are going to use that to augment all those tax all those tax breaks, that we're going to give to our people and stuff and all. And that's how people made money. People were doing just one job because the money that they had could take them home. And they could buy groceries, they could pay their rent, they could do all those stuff and all. Americans were doing well and all. If my own president is doing that for my own country, I'll be very happy, And then when they say, okay, he's talking about immigration, what do you want the guy to talk about? What do you want the guy to talk about? If his own people are not getting jobs, what do you want him to talk about? If Nigerians are not getting job, foreigners are getting all our jobs. What do you think we should be talking about? Really? So for me, I'm looking at it very rationally. I'm not looking at it from somebody that wants to jackpot, and then, thinking that they have made it in life and stuff. Most of the time, I don't even know how many people have jackpot that's even in my own family. Because that's not my own concern. I'm talking of me. I'm here in Nigeria. I'm saying that if my president is like this, I'm making sure that they're doing everything to make sure they take care of their own people. Oh, why would I want to, why do I have any issue with that person, really? So those are the things, and that's the reason why I kind of support Trump. I'm not supporting Trump because I hate anybody or because I don't want you to do well, what have you. I don't even know most of the time. I don't even know if you are there to even begin with, and all. Yeah. So that's my own reason why I support the guy. And I wish him well. I pray that they don't get to kill him, because I know what the world enjoyed when he was in office, Yeah.
I think at the end of the day, everyone is concerned about their own self-preservation. And it depends on what side of the divide you belong to. The pure Americans, they are looking for change. They want Trump because they think that Trump will come in and put Americans first. And it's fair game to them for them to say, maybe for once, we want a government that thinks more about us than a government that's more interested in what's happening in Ukraine and what's happening in Israel and what's happening in Afghanistan. A government that pays more attention to what happens everywhere else other than home. And again, the next question is, what does a Trump presidency mean for the rest of the world? Especially Africa, for example. Yeah, there are some people who are concerned about Trump becoming president on an immigration perspective, especially the Africans, because they will say, oh, Trump coming in means that there are more restrictions to visa entries to the US. That might be possible. But at the end of the day, like you said, any rational thinking person knows that the sovereignty and the safety of a nation is paramount from an inward perspective. And people who make the argument for immigrations against Trump, I think that they make a fundamental mistake in this situation. Trump has an issue with illegal border crossing, right? His major problem with illegal immigrants are the Hispanics, right? And those people who are coming in from the Mexican border, because the border is so porous and there's really no way to, should I say, surveil the border such that you can curtail this illegal border crossing, because the border is so wide. And that's why I had the idea of building the wall, to be a physical barrier to stop, illegal border migration. I think that for Africans, you can't enter the US by sea or by the border. You have to actually fly there. So if you have a legitimate reason to be in America, right, you process the visa, you get it either via a visa lottery or via, like you have actual means to be there. I don't think Trump is going to come in and say, oh, we're not going to issue out valid visas to foreigners to come into the country. I don't think that's Trump's stand. So for Africans who are worried that Trump coming in means, oh, he's going to shut down the door to everybody, I'm not sure that's what the case is. He's going to be strong, or he's going to be hard on illegal border crossing migrations, right? I don't know if he will get his wall, but he will definitely strengthen border patrol and make sure that that is curbed to the minimal level. And if you think that what Trump is concerned about is a selfish agenda, just take a look at what's happening in some other countries like the UK and in Europe at large.
France.
Is it what? Ireland? Yes. France. Ireland. Even Denmark.
I think Germany too is going through a bit of all that.
Yeah. I don't want to make any statements that might be inciting, but you can see there's been a large proliferation of a section of people, foreigners, into these states, which were hitherto considered very peaceful and welcoming countries. They opened up their arms to people to come in. And then what we are seeing now is these people that have come in, they've now outnumbered even the normal citizens. And then they are bringing a new kind of culture, a new kind of behavior, a new kind of reality into a once peaceful and accommodating civilization. So that's the issue that comes with when you just have a freeloading immigration status and you open the doors in, you allow everybody come in. Eventually, we're going to upset the balance, right, of that civilization or that society, and you might end up causing more anarchy. So I'm all for Trump tightening immigration, really. Like you said, it's not about jackpot or not. It's about doing what's right for your people and allowing only the right kind of people come in, people that can add value, right, to your society. London is another place. They are facing their own issues now because of this, open door policy, right? And I think on the other side too, what does Trump presidency mean for the world? I think Trump's going to come in and he's going to quash all the wars in Ukraine, Russia. He's going to squash the Iran, Gaza, whatever conflict. All of that is going to be put to naught, right? And there's going to be relative stability and peace, right, in the Middle East, in Europe, in the West. And what that also means is that oil prices that has been surged up because of all this conflict will begin to drop. And when the oil prices begin to drop, because trust me, Trump is going to ramp up oil production in the United States like crazy, right? He's going to open up the oil rigs and they will start producing oil like nonsense. So there's going to be an increase in supply of oil from the US. So Nigeria needs to start looking at oil dependent states like Nigeria and all these, Libya and all that, Algeria and Angola. They need to start looking at it and saying in November, Trump wins. 2025, we need to start getting ready for the reality of low oil prices. right? And what does that mean for our country? What does that mean for revenue? What does that mean for our budget? What does that mean for our fiscal stability? Less revenue from oil. So presidents and government, they need to start planning ahead because I don't see Trump not winning the election. We need to get past that and start planning for what happens in a low oil price scenario, you know, to our budget, to how we fund our budget, to how we fund critical capital projects, to how government even funds its own balance sheet in the first place, right? We need to start thinking about increasing non-oil exports, boosting productivity locally, you know, trying to achieve sustainability and sustainability in terms of food production and all that. Because if we don't start thinking ahead now and making those plans for those scenarios, 2025 is going to come. Trump's going to take over, stop all the wars, and all of a sudden we just realize that oil price is now $65 per barrel or $60 per barrel. And then we'll start complaining that we don't have Forex because of low oil price. And that's why everybody's going hungry.
Yeah. I wish Trump well, like I said, you know, and, if your own country is not doing well, you need to ask your own leaders, what are they doing, you know, to make the country a bit more livable, you know, for you, the citizens and stuff and all. I know, Nigeria is planning to go protests. They said it's in August. I don't know how that is going to play out. There's been a lot of calling out on X. I saw Patitomi's post saying like Ononuga was trying to incite that he is the one that is planning the protests, that he's been out of Nigeria for a while and stuff. And if our government, if their head is on their shoulders, they won't be, running all over the place like headless chicken. Yeah. They would actually be facing what is happening to the people because people are hungry. Yeah. There's a lot of stuff. I wanted to buy groceries. Groceries normally, I spend, maybe if I'm buying maybe Weetabix, and all the flakes, I think I buy that for, around 3,000. Now it's 7,600, and then you are buying just two things. Before you buy two things, it's over 10,000, 15,000, Yeah. I know. How do people survive like that? Really? How do people, and then you don't want them to complain. You just want them to suck it up, and then you guys are living large. You guys are, on the dime, on taxpayers' dime, on our natural resources. That's what you guys are living on. And you don't want us to say anything. You just want us to be happy, and suck it up and just be clapping for you and just be happy that you are there, and all. And these are all the things that I see Trump fight for. One of the things that he told them when he was doing his campaign recently was like, he realized that even tips, they are taxing tips now in America. I said, going forward, there's not going to be any tax on the tips. If anybody tips you, that's your money 100% and stuff. How do you think the regular voter will think? And then they feel the larger percentage of, low employees, low wages employees and stuff. That's where they feel. And those are the ones that like, to have as much money in their pocket as possible because they don't have any other means, And this guy is giving them tax breaks and stuff. How do you think they will? Meanwhile, our own government got into office. They've put tax on everything that is taxable, and all. And then you want me to be clapping and saying, oh, our government is doing well and all. It's ridiculous. And that's the reason why I say, like, if you think like I'm just supporting Trump because I'm you are a joker. You're just a joker. Go and look at Trump's policies and go and look at what he's doing for the average American. That's when you will know that this guy, that's the reason why a lot of people are rooting for him, like a rock star. When he goes to, or any, many of his rallies and stuff, you see them, it's like sellout crowd and stuff and all, because they feel him, and they know that the politicians, Nancy Pelosi and the rest of them, allegedly, because that's what we are going to be saying now, because they started censoring us on YouTube. Allegedly, they said Nancy Pelosi, he buys stock. And all so conveniently, whenever she's buying the stock, it just so happened that something that triggers the stock to favor the stock buyers has happened. you know, and all. So they are like, you guys are back end, you know, players and all. You know this thing. You are the one that put all the policies and stuff. You know who to favor and you know who not to favor and stuff and all. And these are all the things that they are fighting this guy for. That shouldn't come to power. Shouldn't come and disrupt their party and stuff and all. You know, so for me, that's the reason why I like Trump. I wish him well. I hope they don't get to kill him, you know. And I was just looking at his kids, you know, finally, I was just looking at his kids like, man, that is the greatest gift you can give to your kids. You know, in the face of death, you are telling them, keep going, you know, and all. I'm like, man, this guy is he's a rock star, you know, but he said something that was really, humbling, you know, when he was addressing the guys at Wisconsin, you know. He said, I stand here. You thought I should be here, you know, because you said I'm not meant to be here. Like, yes, you are. Yes, you are. I said, okay, I hear you, but I'm not supposed to be here. But by the grace of the Almighty God, that's why I'm here today and stuff and all. It humbles him, really. And I think for anybody that is trying to kill him and stuff and all, anybody that thinks he's an evil man, and all, that's your own cup of tea, you know, but we will see the end of it at the end of the day, really. And, yeah, I mean, I'm just putting my own thoughts out here, you know, why I support Trump. I support Trump because I see the humanity in him. I see him fighting for his people. That is what every leader should be doing for their own, people. But we realize that our own leaders, they rather buy jet for themselves. Trump's jet is his own private jet. Because he's made money, you know, a private life that he's doing. He's made money and he can fly anywhere all over the world with his own money, you know. Yeah. I know. And they say, well, maybe that's why he got into government. That's your cup of tea. He has made money before he got into government. You know, I know. How many of our political leaders can we say we can trace? Yeah. How many of our political leaders can we say we can trace their money? You know, that they made it legitimately, you know, within the confines of the law, you know. Yeah. So, I mean, it is what it is. I wish Trump well. I wish him well. And, yeah, it is what it is. You know, I mean, we're not supposed to take that long, but it is what it is, really. I'm very passionate talking about Trump anyway. You know, and you guys have seen why I talk about Trump that much.